Good morning. Cut back on unnecessary expenses because you're going to need the money. It's going to get rough. I'm not just saying it. It's going to get rough. Times are going to get hard. When I did a video like this, it was like a few weeks ago on the Facebook. The trolls came out. I said it's fear mongering. No, it's not fear mongering. Cut back on unnecessary expenses. Good morning, Sandy. Oh, my nose is tickling on this side. It's going to get rough. I saw something, if you normally got your Social Security check, hey, Applebrook's honey, on certain days, you may get them on a different day in February based on your birthday. They may be around 2 or 3 days later than what you would get them. You need to prepare for that too, because if it doesn't show up when you're supposed to get it, you need to allow for a few more days. We need to cut back on unnecessary expenses like frivolous things. If you don't really truly need it, I would hold off on buying it because you're going to need the money to live on is what you're going to need it for. It may be much larger than you think. Yes, save your money. Cut back on unnecessary expenses. If you have expenses that you wanted to buy and you were setting back for that and you needed those, I would follow through with that. I would. But to be frivolously spending, I would cut back going to restaurants. If you like to eat out at expensive restaurants or stuff, cut back on that. Cut back on buying brand new clothes all the time. Frivolous spending, you're going to have to get thrift savvy is what you're going to have to do. And if you don't want to hear this, don't watch this video because everybody can look around. If you have eyes to see, you can see where this direction is going. We were told, we were warned it was going to get rough, and we knew it was coming. It is coming. It's not going nowhere. It's not going to get any better. It's going to accelerate. Good morning. Yes, the Social Security is... Social Security checks, just saw different dates, different date in February. I don't know why February, but that's what I read. February and maybe March, February. In February, Social Security payments will be different for individuals who started receiving benefits May of '97. They will receive their payment on the 3rd of the month, regardless of the birthday, instead of the usual schedule based on the birthday ranges. This applies to those receiving both Social Security and SSI. Early recipients, if you started receiving Social Security before May, your payment will arrive on February the 3rd. You can see right here. I don't know if that's different. What's going on? I believe that AI is playing a role. I really do. So if it doesn't show up when you are looking for it, if it falls between the 1st and the 10th, your payment arrives on the 2nd Wednesday of the month. I thought everybody got their Social Security on the 1st of the month. Is that true? I thought they did. Look, listen. Here's when you can expect your Social Security for February to hit your account and how to plan around the delay. The first payment was the 8th. Good morning. The 1st or the 3rd, yeah. The dates were determined. Here's this, what you, look at this. It determines determines your payment date was based on your birthday. Receive payments on Wednesday. The scheduled breakdown is followed. If your birthday falls between the 1st and the 10th, your payment will arrive on the second Wednesday of the month. If your birthday is between the 11th and the 20th, your payment is deposited on the third Wednesday. If your birthday falls between the 21st and 31st, expect your payment on the 4th. Has anyone ever got their payments like that? But this is the Social Security. In February, they will follow this schedule. If you're born between the 1st and the 10th, your payment will arrive February the 12th. If you're born between the 11th and the 20th, your payment will arrive on February 19th. If you're born between the 21st and 31st, your payment will arrive on Wednesday the 26th. The slight delay may require some adjustments for recipients who rely on these funds for immediate expenses. Understanding your payment date will ensure you're prepared to manage your finances efficiently. Yeah. The SSI payments will be deposited on Friday, January the 31st, since February the 1st falls on a Saturday, if you're eligible for it. Yeah. That means they're having issues collecting the money and paying out. Is that what that means? That's interesting, isn't it? I actually found this at a market that I went to. It wasn't a regular department store, it's a market. Yeah, it's nice and warm. The issues with money. You might want to cut unnecessary spending because there's hard times coming. No frivolous spending. And if you're a person who likes to blow money left and right, you think, oh, it's going to catch up with you and you're going to need that money. You might want to start learning how to cook home meals instead of eating out, because that will save you money too. Look for ways to save money. And I'm sure that the prices of food will continue to rise. I saw here in Indiana, one of the second largest poultry farms, chicken farms, they had 2 chickens that died. They had the bird flu in Indiana, so I guess they're going to kill those chickens. Yeah. Save money by buying silver. Well, I personally wouldn't buy silver, because who am I going to give that silver to? If I need to barter with somebody, I'm not going to take somebody's silver if they want to barter with me. I've got some silver. Will you barter with me? No, I don't need your silver. You're going to have something tangible that I can use, like a garden hoe, a shovel, a wheelbarrow, some seeds, some potatoes. Yeah, you're going to have to think along those lines. I would not. I personally wouldn't take nobody's gold. I wouldn't take nobody's silver. I wouldn't. Because I can't spend that, and that ain't going to help me. I need something that I can survive on. Trade eggs. Yeah, give me some eggs. You give me some eggs, I'll give you something that you can use in return also. You saw that this morning. Pocket lint. Yeah, you got some pocket lint. You can start fires with it. Yeah, you ain't going to get far with that. You're not. Good morning. I would start saving my money and not be out there just shopping just to shop. If you have an addiction to shopping, you might want to curb that addiction now. Spending frivolous money, like if you like to go buy video games and stuff, you might You might want to hold off on that. Buying a bunch of junk food at the stores, well, they're not healthy for you anyway. You might want to buy some canned goods, throw some canned goods in there, and maybe not buy that other bag of chips. Buy something that would be more sustaining for you. Yeah, you're so scared. There's scary times ahead. There are. Trump's become president, but no, you could see it coming before that. You can. There's things that had already been put into motion that no one could stop. We can't continually, and no country can continually go on spends like there's no tomorrow. I can't do that, and you can't do that. You can't just spend and spend and spend and rack up credit card debt thinking nothing's going to happen, it's not going to catch up with you. I'm sure they're going to reform that credit card debt too. I really am. People who maybe used to going out taking those bankruptcies every 7 years or so, you may find that it's not so easy now. Excuse me. Yeah, you just might want to just speed thrifts. Think, don't blow your money, please. You're gonna need it. And this isn't fear mongering. You're going to need the money in order to bring a new system. The old system has to come crashing down. It's not just in the United States. It's going to be worldwide. You may say, well, that's the one world government. It may be. You can't stop it. But you want to prepare yourself. You want to shield yourself as much as you can against what's coming because you can't stop it. You might want to you want to go out and shop. Let me tell you, if you're addicted to shopping, you say, well, I just like to buy stuff. Well, go buy you a shovel and a garden rake and some hand tools. Think of planting yourself a nice little garden because you might want that. Maybe you might want to build some above ground raised garden beds. How about you, if you like to shop, think of survival like that? Because it doesn't take much to grow potatoes. It doesn't take much to grow some plants like some pepper plants or tomato plants. See, that sounds really nice. And some lettuce, a little patio garden. Even when we lived in Berlin, Germany, I remember getting, excuse me, those little long containers and put some potting soil in it. And it grew me some little things of lettuce and stuff like that for salads. Dehydrating foods. Yeah, you might want to if you are addicted to shopping, you want to shop, you want to just go out and spend that money. Some people, you may want to get something while you can get it before it disappears off the shelf. Like things to make a garden with. And if you wanted to grow container gardening, my nose is tickling on the right side. You might want to get some potting soil if you can find it. Yeah, or just you think of something. You might want to get some spices. If you like to go shopping, instead of eating out, get you some spices you might want to cook with. But you're going to have to buy food that you're going to use those spices in. It's not it's not everyone's thing, but you find plants in tiny garden to such a good way. It is I really miss that. That's what I did before coming on the YouTube. I loved going out in my garden. I'd go out in it, and every day I would. I loved tying up the tomato plants when they got a little bit bigger to the fence line. And just like, my nose is tickling. Just working in my garden. Yeah. The Kennedy confirmation, they hate his guts. They hate him. They don't want him in power. They're smearing him. They said right before his confirmation was coming, the internet was flooded with the usual terrible, awful things, condemnation. Yeah, you have 20 plants in your garden. The Biden-Harris machine start you to to shop better. That's good. He has to drain the swamp. Yeah, he's doing it. And you got to have people in that position who aren't afraid to go into the swamp. When we lived in Florida, is Bartow, Florida, I was real, real little. We didn't live there too long, but we had this house by this pond, little lake right next to the ocean or something. And we had these fishing poles where we could catch some fish. And I think it was my mom's fishing pole or something. Something caught her fishing pole. I guess it was an alligator or something. It took her fishing pole. It took, I don't know what it did. It snapped the line or something, and her pole was out in the water. And I remember this friend of my dad's. He was a wild man. He walked out in that pond or lake, whatever it was, knowing those alligators were out there, and he retrieved that fishing pole for my mom. You got to have people who are brave enough, who can go out in the swamp and clean it. You do. And they may not be the most desirable of people, but you know who can get the job done without being terrified to death. Yeah, and that's the truth. You know, companies hire people, they hire these managers. When they need to do cutbacks, they hire certain types of managers who have no qualm about coming in and firing people. They don't. Because not everybody can do that type of job. It takes a strong personality to do that. Yeah, you lived outside Lake Wales in Florida. Good morning, Rita honey. Yeah, we gotta, you don't do any unnecessary spending. Save your money or use your money wisely to buy things that are going to benefit you in a depression era economy. Depression era economy. Have you been seeing advertisements for how to cook meals and stuff like that? Yeah. It's a supreme grand rising, Vicky. I'm hungry right now. I really am. I'm sitting here and I'm finding myself hungry. I know what I'm going to eat. Oatmeal. 1/4 cup of oatmeal with some water, with some blueberries, with some chia seeds, and with some cinnamon powder and some walnuts on top. That's going to be my breakfast every morning. Yeah. You might want to do some meal planning. You may have to do that in the future. You may be doing it now. My mother used to meal plan all the time. She'd write a list out of the things she needed for the meals, and she would get the food at the store, and we had that meal that week. It was great. Yeah, boiled eggs. I got some boiled eggs in there that are boiled yesterday. I like to eat them as a snack. Yeah, don't worry. People have gotten paid 3 payment like always. Believe it or not, you pray for Ken. When I go outside, the wind chimes, I hear him. I say, Ken, what are you doing out here? Because those came from his funeral. I said, hello there, Ken. And I just pretend he's saying, hello there, sweetheart. What you doing? Yeah, I do. You got to make changes now, especially, even if when you get older, you got to prepare now for when you get older. Like I've got to prepare now. I can't have the standard of living. If some people, if you have a extravagant lifestyle, if you have a way of living, that is not going to be sustainable when you get older, you might want to take care of that now. Start getting yourself used to, like downsizing and things like that. Downsizing on your spending and stuff. Yeah. Um, yeah, it is going back to the old times. Trading food and stuff. Or something someone has that they don't think they need, but then all of a sudden they need it. That can even be from uh, screws, decking screws and nails, light bulbs, extra hammers, extra saws, and stuff like that. It could be stuff like that too. If you go to secondhand stores and you see things that can be useful and you buy them, you could trade them one day. Homemade caramel. I used to make that a lot. I had to stay away from all sugars since I got diagnosed with that cancer. No sugar for Gina. Even though I know my brain needs some, I'll get it through the fruit. Yeah, you're worried and horrible with change, so and anxious and worried. Well, try not to be worried. Yeah, using creamer and sugar in your coffee. I did have some green tea this morning. I still got it in this cup. I put 1 teaspoon of that lovely vanilla extract and I think a tablespoon or two of, it was a half a lemon I squeezed in my cup for my drink. We should learn how a lot from the Amish community. Well, they don't, you're not easily invited into an Amish community and they keep to themselves. They're not too much on outsiders. But you can watch videos on the YouTube. Yeah. I feel good, except I'm hungry. I am. You use honey, that's great. We have a place that is near us in the country. They get the maple syrup from the trees. You can only get it a certain time of year, and they can their maple syrup. And people come from all around to have that maple syrup. Yeah, you might want to control your spending. We're entering turbulent water. Just pretend that you are on a long journey in a boat. You're on the stormy seas of life. Right now we have a little bit of waves that are coming. You may get more waves. Yeah, I saw where this volcano is showing imminent signs of eruption off the west coast of California. They feel that it's going to happen by the end of the year, and they end the article. Of course, we don't know how it's going to erupt or if it will keep the same pattern of eruption as it did before. Yeah, powdered creamers you can light on fire. Wow, that's interesting. You know, they sell powdered milk, and it's not that desirable to drink, but that would come in mighty handy if you didn't have any milk at all. I'm sure you might acquire a taste for milk, and you would have it in your house. You wouldn't have to go to the store, and you can use it in your cooking too. Yeah, you're paycheck to paycheck already. A lot of people know what it's like, and they know how to pinch pennies. You make do. Remember the early days when I got married with my husband? He was in the military. He was in Presidio of Monterey, California, doing his studying. And I was pregnant, and we only had pennies in our account. And I remember going to the grocery store, and we had to count change. And we ate ramen noodles. And remember one day all I had was like a can of green beans. It was either ramen noodles or a can of green beans to eat while I was 9 months pregnant. I said, well, I guess I'll eat these can of green beans. There was no extra money. I mean, if you have very little canned goods in your cabinet or things, you will. I didn't starve to death, but I thought I'm going to eat it. I didn't think I was too good. No, I wanted something to eat. Yeah. If you're a person who only has a few canned goods in your house, I got to get a drink. I would encourage you to invest in some canned goods because they're not getting any cheaper. And if you see sales on them, I would get them. Get something that you want to eat. You get you some rice, get you some pasta. It has an extremely long shelf life. Pasta does. Yep, there's plastic in rice. I've heard that too. Remember those cheese puffs and those the original cheese puffs? You know that cheese puff looking packaging stuff that you pack stuff with when you ship it? I had bought a bag of that one time, and I put it in my mouth, and it literally dissolved like a cheese puff. And then I had some cheese puffs, and I put that in my mouth. It did the same thing, and I thought, I wonder if cheese puffs are made from what these packaging things are, except these packaging things had powdered sugar all on them. Because when they melted in my mouth, They were practically the same texture. It was really strange. I haven't ate cheese puffs since then. It's been a long time since I've ever eaten them. I'm not joking. It did. They were perfectly shaped like the cheese puffs. If you got some in your house, those packaging things, you put one of those in your mouth and then get a cheese puff the same size, put that in your mouth, and then notice the texture of it. It's practically identical. It just literally like dissolved. That was an eye opener for me. Well, I'm not a military brat. Are you a military brat? No, there were some brats in the military. Yeah. Hey there, Frank, honey. You're from Good Morning from Louisiana. Cheese ain't like it used. No, it isn't. Remember when the banana started changing? You eat a banana, it didn't have the same texture. It kind of felt like it had some type of powdery like residue within it. The texture was really strange. And the apples nowadays, you can have an apple that you buy in the store and it gets set for months. My mom had some, I think it was like last year or so. She had it left over from, I think it was Thanksgiving, and it was like around January. And I ate that apple. The skin was a little bit wilty, but the inside was clear, and I ate it. You're a brat and an old one at that. Yeah. And they have some, those one type of plants somewhere in Indiana. I don't think it was the 3D plants where they, well, it could have been a 3D printing of plant of food. I don't know. I don't even know how you can 3D plant food, but I guess you can. Yes, get yourself a medical kit. Yeah, invest in one. If you want to go shopping today, you think I just want to get out and I just want to spend some money, get you a medical kit and or get you some canned goods, get you something that is going to be beneficial. It's going to get rough. And with that deep seek from China, it it took around it took over $500 billion out of the stock market, which would be billions. I think it was 500 or something $1 billion with AI, with the deep seek coming. It made it go, yeah. You have a medical kit, a huge package of fruit. Ah, not one fruit had seeds. Wow, seedless. Isn't that interesting? The ones in the Easter market are the best in the summer, y'all. You want to prepare for hard times. Cut out all unnecessary spending. If you're going to spend something, spend it on something that is going to benefit you. You still have time to like get you some canned goods or something. Or if if you like, if you don't got a crock pot, listen to me. If you like to eat beans and stuff, I would get you some dried beans and you can soak them overnight and you can put them in your crock pot and they can cook. That saves you time in cooking. And it's nice to do. People used to do that all the time, but now they have the Instapots. We got a brand new one. I don't even know how to operate. It was a Christmas gift. A couple Christmases back, I thought, this thing is so complicated. I just want to stick something in there and I just want to turn the button on. Yeah. Get you some dried, excuse me, shelf-stable food. You still have time, even though the prices have practically doubled. Because when the stuff really does hit the fan, and it's going to, this is not like preparing for an ice storm or snow. No, no, no. This is going to be long. There's there's trouble up ahead. Rough times. Nothing's guaranteed. It isn't. Yeah. Hey there in Houston. We must get prepared with goods. It's tough times are coming. It's true, Dagui, Dagway. Especially with all the funds being cut and groceries are too much money. They are too much money. Even when my brother, he went to Fort Knox, he went to the commissary because he's retired Navy too. He was showing his grocery list yesterday. He said, Gina, remember when we could go to the commissary and we could buy all these items and it would be really, really long because things were so much cheaper back then. I said, yeah. He goes, look how long this one is. It's so short. Used to get really good deals at the commissary on military bases, but now the food has risen over there. It used to be, this is the good times when we lived in Fort Meade in Maryland. The commissary would have these case lot sales. This was back in late 90s. These big semi trucks would come and they had literally cardboard boxes that had the big cases, the big boxes of cereals, Nutri-Grains, those things that you would roll up in taffy rolls or whatever. They had all kinds of cereals. You could get a whole a case of cereal for $7 and Nutri-Grains for like that too. It was so, so cheap, and they were the massive sizes. I remember stocking up on that, and when my parents would come and visit, we would load their car up when they go back to Indiana, and they used it. It was nice. Yeah. No, you can't get that kind of stuff right now. If you see deals, I would get them. Have you noticed in the grocery store the items that they used to have? You used to have lots of varieties of, like, say, salad dressings and things. That section is shrinking. There's a lot of that going on. Your choices are becoming less and less, even though the prices are increasing. I think Walmart brought some of their prices down. At times they do rollback or something. You eat healthy, it costs a lot of money. Well, I know we bought a bag of kale, and that was only like $3 or $4, and I put that in the pan last night and steamed it. It filled up a whole entire cooking pan, and we had that with our pinto beans. That to me is a cheap meal, as opposed to and that the one bag of beans, a pound of beans, maybe it was 2 pounds, I don't know, and a bag of kale, that will last at least it would last 3 days with someone eating them 3 days in a row if you had 2 people. But if it's one person, it would last you practically all week for a meal. And you know, you can eat soup or something. You're just gonna have to learn to eat different, really. There's foods that you can buy that aren't too unhealthy, like pasta. You can buy some, but if you're allergic to whatever, you need to get a cookbook. Get yourself a cookbook, good old-fashioned cookbooks, because if the internets go down and you can't look at the recipes on your cell phone, you're gonna be up the creek. Get you a nice picture-looking cookbook or some type of cookbook. Go to a thrift store or something. They have plenty of cookbooks, I've noticed. At this Goodwill they were getting rid of their CDs, and they were putting more books out, I guess, for people to read and stuff. Beans and potatoes, yeah, that's a healthy meal. You can have potatoes and you can have beans and you can have vegetables. Fruit's expensive. A bag of fruit, like oranges or something, you might be lucky if you get 6 or 7 oranges in a bag. It's like $4 if you can get it on sale. But think, if you buy a bag of chips, you're going to pay $4 or $5 for a bag of chips. How much healthier is orange than a bag of chips? And you can't just eat one chip. You have to eat handful after handful of chips. I know my husband, if he sits down at that counter and he's got a certain bag of chips, he's going to eat that whole chip up, that whole bag, in 2 days, depending on what he's eating with it. Yeah. You're struggling with cooking and portion size. You're used to cooking. Yes, I hear you, Laura. I do. It's hard. And you know, if you buy, like, I get you some rice and pasta. You can get some instant rice. Get you some pasta. You can get some tomato sauce or cheap spaghetti sauce if you like spaghetti. You can just be very creative in your cooking. Get you some beans and have some 3-bean salad. Get you some chili beans, and you can just heat them up and eat them like something. Yeah, you can. If you don't like beans, you're gonna be up the creek. Yeah. Protein drinks are very expensive. I've got some protein powders. I put some protein powders that I had in capsules last night. I thought, well, I'm just sitting here. I think I'll put some. I put some super greens in capsules because I didn't want to eat that super green smoothies. I thought, no, I don't want to drink that green stuff. So I just put some in capsules. Yeah. I should make sweet potato chips for your hubby, Blackjack Guitar. We got a lot of sweet potatoes in the basement. I should stick some, dice some up and put them in the oven because they're wonderful snacks. They are to snack on. Um, you bought for 5 going forward. You're going to start pulling stock and canning meat. Yeah, it's hard to can meat if you don't do it in the right way. That meat will it won't can after a while. I remember my neighbor. She had been canning all her life, and she made all these jars of vegetable soup. And she was so upset something went wrong, and within 2 weeks the lids popped up. All that hard work, she felt really bad that it happened. Um, oh, collagen injectables. Ooh, that sounds gross. I've got collagen powder. I don't know how I would take it. I could probably put that in capsules too. I could. I've never had it. Fermented foods are nice to have if your system can handle it. We do our own fermenting of, it reminds me, when I get home, I need to get that, those apple peels and apple cores out of that big ceramic thing that we put cheesecloth over because we was making homemade apple cider vinegar. But what you got to do, you got to scoop the yuck off the top, and you got to get the juice out, and then you got to get a cheesecloth or something, and you got to squeeze all the nice liquid out. It's a lot of work. I think I probably need to get it out to get that done. If the power goes out, you need gas, and or you need to have an alternative means of cooking. You might have to do some makeshift cooking outside. There's videos on that too. Yeah. You stop buying bananas. They don't last long. Tariffs are for fair trade, and you see no problem with fair trade. No, there's not any problem with it. It's going to get rough, and you might want to cut out on your unnecessary spending. And if you are a shopping alcoholic, a shopaholic person, you just can't go out without shopping. Go find you something that's going to be beneficial for you that you can use. Really, you'll feel better when things do get rough. That you'll have something during those times, and you won't have to worry about not having nothing. Everybody's going to feel it. You're going to feel it. You're not going to be happy with everything that Trump does. A lot of the stuff he's doing is necessary to drain the swamp, and it's going to have widespread ramifications and disruptions. It's already having it. He's shaken. He's creating earthquakes in the swamp, is what he's doing. And it's affecting a lot of people's lives who they thought he could, there's no way he could drain that swamp. No, he's draining it. Whatever happened to that Epstein list? Why don't we hear anything about it? Where did that list go? One day they might release it. Maybe they're holding it. Maybe they gave it to all these people, and these people are terrified of it. Yeah. You're trying to find and get a camper oven, so if the power goes out, you can eat on it. Yeah, like a portable thing. You can get those portable things at the Walmart. Little portable things with the propane, and or they have the ones that have the fuel oil that you put in them. Or you can get those sterno cans, but those sterno cans, when you store the sterno cans, and if they're not stored right, they will dry out. The fuel in them will. Yeah. Bubbles is bursted. Yeah. You feel like all this is leading to you will own, probably, probably. That's right. It's okay. You can weather the storm. It'll be rough for a while before it gets any better. Just like people's lives, when you have to start over, it's really rough at first, but then it gets better as time goes by. It does, with support. Yeah. So I'm going to go. And with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello. From my heart to yours, love you. Have a wonderful rest of your morning. And thank you all for um, tuning in. Love you.